Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Church Office. PJ, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
I was at a conference a couple of days this week.
That's right. How'd that go?
It was really nice. The people might remember, like, it was 1 year ago from now, right? We did the Seculosity.
It was last fall.
Last fall.
Yep.
And so the book we did was Seculosity, and it was really about how all these different areas in our life can become what Luther would call gods, or maybe we would say idols. They become religions.
Yes.
And so there was the Seculosity of busyness, of parenting, technology,
recreation.
All sorts of different areas of life.
Food.
And you were all about. I mean, you loved this book.
What I liked about this book is Luther's explanation to the first commandment is really simple. Whatever you find, whatever in your life gives you meaning, that's your God.
Yeah.
Right? So we're spiritual people, and the Spirit's going to reach out for something to find meaning.
Yeah.
If you take God out, the Spirit's going to find something.
Yeah.
So it's going to find meaning in your job.
Yep.
It's going to find meaning in your role of as a parent, or even recreation, food, whatever that might be. Busyness. You know, I keep busy. That's why I'm.
Busyness is the one for me.
Is that it?
That's the one for me.
Mine's obviously recreation. But anyway, but the point is, I'm reading the first chapter because it had been recommended to me by actually Ben Roberts.
From right down the street.
Right down the street, St. Paul. St. Paul, Trenton.
That's right. I forgot that's how
Ben and I were talking about it. Ben said, Jay, if you like sermon series with books, you'll love this one. Anyway, I'm reading through the first chapter, and I'm just noticing that this guy's saying the same thing Luther said 500 years ago, but it's updated.
Yeah.
And that's what you like to see, that God's truth is always God's truth, but the way in which it affects our lives changes because our lives change.
Yeah.
Luther wasn't going to write about technology 500 years ago, but it's certainly a legit thing today. So I was super jealous because the presenter at the conference was the author, David Zoll.
Yep.
And it was kind of put together by our Michigan district. And I'm so appreciative. Our Michigan district and our great president, President Davis, wanted these younger pastors
Yes, it
like
was for
PJ's age.
They call it next generation, but it was young. That's the hip. That's a title for pastors. Sometimes I've seen that at churches. To be the next generation pastor, or the pastor to the emerging generation.
So what am I?
Well, I mean, what we used to probably. I mean, you call that like family pastor or family and youth pastor or something. I don't know.
I think
it's a cool term.
I think it just be called pastor, because they're pastors that you're putting out to pasture.
Yeah.
That's
the pastor. That's good. That's not bad.
The sunset pastor. Sunset pastor. All right.
So, and actually, I'm glad that you said when you were reading it, that's what you thought. That, hey, this is the same. That's exactly what he said. He said, "You guys, he's all said. When I wrote this book, I was very aware of the fact that I was just taking right from Scripture, and also from things like church fathers, and he specifically mentioned the Lutheran confessions, and I'm just putting it into modern day words,
Exactly, which I appreciate, and I thought it's really well done. So I was jealous because PJ got this.
It was great. It was really great.
And so that was great. So no, I was glad that you got to do that. All right. Once again, the church office brought to you by our good friends at White Furniture.
Oh,
all right.
I forgot my sponsored mug.
What? But you have.
I have a mug.
You have a mug.
I haven't. No, it's on my shelf. That one's on my shelf.
Oh, is it? Oh, you got that one.
I do have this one. Just didn't bring it in here.
So for those of you who don't, Scott is my neighbor. Ran into Scott the other day, and Scott helps us with our foundation. The CTK Foundation is another charitable arm of CTK. It helps fund projects and things that maybe we wouldn't be able to do, but now we can. And so Scott Jordan, with his great help from Eric and Paul, they do a fantastic job. And what they were able to do for us, and I want to throw this out there to you, especially you families with young kids, every Advent season, and that's right around the corner.
It is.
December 1st will be the first Sunday in Advent. We like to give away a book, a Christmas book.
Yeah, we've done it for like 2 or 3 years now, right?
And I found one from Concordia Publishing House, which is called N is for Nativity. And hopefully we're going to be able to get that one there. And it's a little bit more than we're used to, but we got 100 books, so we want to give them to every family. And then have some extra too as well. But that's the kind of thing that we're able to do because of what the foundation does. The foundation says, sure, we'll pick up that, and that'll be there. So if you're here in those Sundays in December, probably we'll be giving them away. December 1st to December 8th, I think, are those Sunday Decembers. We want to get some Christmas books, some nativity books about Jesus' birth. into your families. You can read it with the kids.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You never have enough. And this one was published in 2023.
Oh, brand new book.
So it's relatively new, right?
Usually we deal with books that are thousands of years old.
we are big onto that, like
at least hundreds.
What did Justin Martyr say about the Nativity? What about Origen? Tertullian,
Yeah.
Because you know how much the kids love Tertullian.
They love Tertullian, yeah.
Anyway, no, what we usually do is we find cheap books and we cheap out on that. That's what we did. And so this year's like, no, this is going to be, I hope it's a really good book. I think the kids are going to like it. It costs a little bit more, but hey, that's where Scott Jordan, Eric Newbecker, Paul Pellegrini, they're doing great. They're just doing such a good job with the foundation. And so, Scott, thank you, buddy. We appreciate that. So that is Advent. I wanted to get that out there. Let's talk about our schedule coming up worship-wise. So you've got a really cool service coming up this week.
This weekend is going to be a cool service.
I'm looking forward to this. I really am. I think the way in which you're looking at the text of the widow's mite, which we all know, right? The widow gives a little bit and she's praised. And the Pharisees, give a lot and they're not. I love the way you're looking at that. I'm not going to spoil it. I think it's a really neat application. So I hope if you're around this weekend, please make it a point to join us for worship.
Yeah, It's going to be good.
Looking forward to that. And then we've got, Thanksgiving Eve's right around the corner. Because for those of you who don't know the church here as much as PG and I do, because we're goofballs, that's kind of what we do. The last Sunday in the church here is the 24th. And so the church year begins with Advent, not according to the calendar year, but the church year.
I don't know. It doesn't. If it doesn't make sense to you, I'm with you because I don't know when that started. The history started with. I guess it makes sense. Jesus is a baby, right? So
I suppose,
but I don't know.
Why wouldn't you start the church? The church year could just as easily start on Pentecost.
That would make sense. The birthday
Sunday.
Of the church,
the birthday of the church,
or Easter, maybe, right? Like as the biggest day of the year.
But then
so I don't know.
Anyway, so that's the church year. So that's coming up. And then what will happen with Advent services, let's see, what's that? First Advent service will be the first week, December 4th. Will be an Advent service. The Christmas program, which the kids are working on
number
the Christmas
2
program now. Yeah, that'll be the December 11th. And the matinee is on that Wednesday and then the 12th. Okay. And then we do have that last Advent service will be on the 18th. That's how that schedule works out. What else was there?
Well, during services this weekend, we're going to have the really special, and it's awesome to watch the presentation of the colors, the flags for Veterans Day.
We've got Veterans Day. Yes, that's very moving, and we do want to shout out to our veterans. A big shout out. If you see a veteran around this weekend, just go out of your way to thank him. Just thank him or her. For her service, so that they know how much they're appreciated.
And by the way, our Sunday school kids have been working on a special project to help us thank our veterans over the weekend. So that'll be during the services as well. We'll do that during the children's message.
That's during the kids' message.
Yeah. So that's gonna be it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, and the guys posting the colors this week, they are veterans in our congregation. We want to thank Dave Gorky, Richard Todd, and George Contos because they'll be here at all the services, posting the colors and pledges. And what else do we have? It's New Member Sunday too.
And new members at 9 o'clock.
Just the 9 o'clock service. So if you're here at the 9 o'clock service, please go out of your way to say hi. Welcome some of our new members. A lot of them, they've been worshiping with us for years, and so
that's true. Some
look like new members, but it's always wonderful when folks join us in the mission that we have. And it's kind of fun these back-to-back Sundays because this past Sunday we had early communion. And so you get these youngsters, these little kids that you and I have known since they were kids, and now they're kind of maturing and beginning to make that a part of their spiritual lives and growing in Christ, which is really just a neat milestone for those families. And some of our adults are joining a little bit later. The coolest thing too, our adult baptism is cool.
Absolutely,
because I had an adult baptism on Sunday after service, and that's just so exciting. I don't know, takes you back to the earth because that's what they did. In the church. They
baptisms were conversions,
and 3,000 were added to the church that day. 5,000 were added to the church that day. So that was really neat. So it's been a great few weekends, and one's come up as well. All right, so we did that. We did new members, veterans. We thanked the foundation All right, PJ, I have
Yeah.
something here.
Okay, yeah. What is this envelope?
Check this out right there. So this is from Molnar Funeral Homes. We want to thank Molnar for their kind of help out here at CTK. They give some calendars each year. If you get the calendar, that'll come. Every year, Molnar basically invites the pastors at Christ the King and retired pastors, so that includes my dad, Pastor Harry as well, to join them at the prayer breakfast. And so we'll be joining them at the prayer breakfast. The keynote speaker, do you know who Dr. Crawford Loritz is?
I don't yet.
You will.
I will.
On, let's see, what day is that? On Friday, December 6th, you will be finding out.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll be joining them.
Man, this is a cool event. I've gotten to go the last 2 years.
In all seriousness.
It's neat.
In all seriousness. I've now been going to this event since I got here.
Yeah.
So for over 20 years. And it's fascinating to me, the history of how the prayer breakfast began.
Okay.
It began with, if I'm remembering this correctly, a foundational pastor in our downriver community named Billy Walker. So Billy Walker was the pastor of Calvary Baptist Church.
Okay.
And Billy, I think, he kind of helped. There's two guys. One was the head of negotiating for the union, and the other was the head of negotiating for the auto networks.
Okay.
And they were strong Christian men who were on opposite sides of the table in negotiations.
Right. Yeah.
And I can picture them, but over the years, their names escape me, and I apologize. I should have done my research better on this. Anyway, you'll know who I am, and so well, somebody in the comments, all right?
Okay. Yeah.
But these two guys were strong Christians, and they thought, it's fine that we negotiate against each other with this to try to, because we're adversaries here at the negotiating table, but over the table that really matters, that table of fellowship, we're brothers in Christ.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. So they wanted a breakfast table. They basically said, what if we got together? I didn't realize that was the history of it. Yeah. The origin is these two guys going back and forth. And then, of course, under the leadership and guidance, and I think of Billy Walker, that's my kind of how that worked. Because I think when I got here in 99, 2000, they've been doing it for, what does this say? It is the 37th annual. So, so they've been doing it for maybe 12 years or so, or in the ballpark of that. It was relatively new, but yeah, and it's since been going. I've gone to every one, thanks to our good friends at Molnar Funeral Home who pay for that. And one of the fun things about the prayer breakfast is the way that Billy Walker, the Lord called him home. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a while. So, but Billy's son, Billy Walker Jr., kind of stepped in.
Yeah, okay, that's what I've been seeing.
Yes, because he's now the lead pastor. And their church, Calvary, was right there on Eureka Road, kind of across from the Olive Garden.
Okay.
Where my cousin liked to hang out.
Right, yeah.
They sold that building and they bought Corman School.
Oh, okay.
And they renovated Corman School, for those of you who know Southgate. And they did a really cool job with that.
Okay, interesting.
Which, by the way, don't let me forget to just give a little shout out to our good folks at Gilead.
That's right. Yeah, we took a tour.
That was a cool tour. If you didn't hear about it on Sunday, we'll give a shout out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point being there that Billy would always start off the prayer breakfast with a joke.
Yeah.
And that's a very Baptist
thing. Like Southern Baptist, right? Like
a classic Baptist thing to do. And so, and in addition to the speaker, because there have been some really good speakers that are famous people that have been there as well. Chuck Gatica was one.
Oh, okay. The news,
the weather forecaster, Chuck Gatica, who our good friend Pastor Mark. I had no idea that Pastor Mark Bushikovich was such a Chuck Gatica file.
Maybe that's why I know who it is, because of Mark. Yeah,
he literally loved the guy.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Like stalker level. Yeah. When he heard that Chuck Gatica was going to be the speaker at the prayer breakfast, he almost lost his mind. He couldn't wait. Anyway, so we had fun with that for a week. Yeah. So besides the speaker, you go there looking forward to the joke.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of really good jokes.
Really
yeah,
good jokes. And again, I'm going to tell it poorly. You've got one that you're going to tell well.
I've got a joke too, yeah.
I hope it's not the same joke.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Mine is the one about, the mom who goes to wake up her son. Says, son, let's go. Let's go. You're going to be late.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's waiting for you. Says, Mom, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. You have to go. Let's go. Mom, I sit all by myself. Nobody likes me. Nobody listens to me. My mom goes, son, you're the pastor. It's Sunday morning. Get up. Go to your church.
I have not heard that before.
Yeah. Now you can imagine, told well. I mean, told well. That's
I can't believe you didn't say that for a sermon.
And that it's just one of those ones I remember.
You can still use it for a sermon.
When I hear Billy Walker, it's what I think. And his son too. I mean, Billy Walker Jr. has stepped right into his father's shoes. I'll be honest. In the same way that I'll never completely fill Pastor Terry's shoes.
Yeah.
Billy Walker Jr. will never completely fill Billy's. Billy is a king. Such a good joke teller. Yeah. All right, give me yours. What do you got?
So first of all, mine came from, again, just the Baptist preachers. Mine came from the beginning of a Joel Osteen sermon. Okay, Joel Osteen sermon.
Oh, Joel. He's
every single sermon, and I wonder, I will have to ask Billy Walker if he does this. Every single sermon, he walks up there and he says, I like to start with something funny. And he tells his joke, and then he does the joke, and then he moves on with the sermon.
I wonder if all Baptists are taught that.
Yeah, I think it's just part of the deal. Right?
We go there, and the first they drill in us law, gospel, Reformation. Yeah. Did the Baptist seminaries just go, all right, here's the thing, guys. All right, here's your jokes.
Here's your joke section.
Jokes 101.
Joke class.
Jokes 202.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so you're right.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the joke is, so there was this Christian man, and God was just really, really pleased with him. He had done very well in his life. He was just a good Christian. God was very happy with him. And God came to him and said, I'm going to give you one request. You wish for whatever you want from me, ask whatever you want, and I'm going to give you one wish. So he thought long and hard about it, and he said, well, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii, but I'm afraid to fly. So would you build a bridge from the mainland United States to Hawaii so that I can drive to Hawaii and go to Hawaii? And God thinks about it for a little bit, and he comes back and he says, that's a really big ask. It's like physically, structurally impossible. We can't do it. Just come up, think of something else. What else do you want? I'll do something else. And so the man thinks again, and he says, well, the other thing is that I feel like I have a really hard time understanding my wife. So if you could just give me the ability to understand women, that would be great. And God stops and he thinks about it for a good long minute. And he says, son, do you want 2 lanes or 4 lanes on that bridge? That's pretty good, right?
That's great. Yeah. And you can see it coming.
Yeah, you can see it coming.
That's the beauty of these jokes too. Half the jokes halfway through, or maybe like right before, you can see the punchline coming. You know it's there. You know it's there. But Billy, Joel, the same way. Yeah. They do it so well. No, I'll catch Joel Osteen. Bless his heart, there are things about his theology that I might go.
It's not Lutheran theology.
It's not Lutheran. Sure. Yeah, it's a little bit more. I don't know if we want to get into it now. Maybe it's at some point theology of glory instead of theology of the cross. But then we're getting technical. I like listening to him.
Oh, he's a great speaker.
I love because I'll catch him.
Yeah,
and it'll be like. Well, it's a lot like Dan Campbell, all right, and Aaron Glenn. They're watching game film of the opposing players.
Okay.
You can still learn stuff.
Yeah.
You can still learn stuff. Watching game film. And speaking of game film, homework. We have some homework to do.
We do have homework. Yep.
That is
seminary homework.
We did not want to subject you to watching PG and I do homework again. I mean, we could have done that.
Sometimes it feels like it would be a little more entertaining. This week we looked at it and we thought, boy, this is boring even for us. They're not gonna.
We don't even want to do it.
Right.
We don't even want to do it.
People aren't going to want to listen to this.
But in this week's homework, you gave me the questions, and then you also gave me. Did I get this right?
Yeah.
Joel Osteen came up in one of the homework questions that we had.
One of the questions is that's kind of what got me thinking about Joel Osteen, because one of the homework questions is about basically, it's not him preaching, it's him writing in this book, but it's the same thing. It's about It's about different ways of interpreting a Bible passage, and the way that it's interpreted in the book is it's very different than the way that we're being taught to interpret the scriptures.
Which I get. We can talk about that, but then you also printed out a chapter of a Joel Osteen book.
Yeah, so that's...
and said that I'm supposed to read that. Now, this is where I have to ask, is this real? Am I getting punked? I'll be honest. Am I getting punked? Because PJ, he could put just about anything in front of me and say, Jay, you got to read this. I mean, I'm like Ron Burgundy in Anchorman, all right? I'll read anything, all right? You put it up there. And so
next week,
is this legit?
It is legit. But next week, to cleanse, you get to read out of the Augsburg Confession to kind of go.
Which did beg the question: is this homework real at all, or is this like Inception? What's happening here? No, in all seriousness, I did read it.
Yeah,
I do think it's an interesting look, and I do think you and I will have a fun discussion. We will like it. We wanted to spare you guys from it because I do have some takes. I do have
That's good.
Some takes that are on there as well. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, other than that,
that's our list.
Dan, I think that's pretty much our list of what's happening.
Busy weekend.
It is. It's a busy weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. We did talk about. Did we follow up on the confirmation lock-in? We're leading up to it.
Oh, maybe not, because that was just last Friday. Boy, it seems like an eternity ago, but that was just last Friday.
I would just want to say that was so much fun. I think for the kids, and I was only here till 8:00.
Yeah,
but that was. I think the kids really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah,
I think the kids got a lot out of it.
Yeah,
and you got to see some of them because they're in junior high, and some of our kids who go to the day school, and some of the kids who don't. They don't know each other.
Yep.
They're spending time, in a confirmation class, 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
And so, in order for those kids to help their friendships and get them to know each other a little bit better, and it's effort on your part mainly because you were here the whole time. But you had some help, right?
Oh yeah. Well, and honestly, Donna Hefner actually is. I mean, she is like just an all-star confirmation.
Yes, Donna
leader.
Hefner.
I mean, she's
our director, and she's just got energy plenty.
She stayed up all night, and then cooked breakfast for everybody at 7 a.m. The only thing that kept me up was me thinking, well, Donna's doing it. I'm not going to go to sleep right here in front of Donna if she's still running around this place.
She shamed you. She sleep shamed you. You could not go to sleep.
So it was good, and mostly because of her. But it is. You get them in a setting like that, a different setting.
Yep.
And you get to they come out of their shell if they're a kid who's in a shell, or they just get an opportunity to spend some more. I mean, in that 12 hours that you have, that's worth like a whole year of class time in some ways.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it gives you a chance to know them a little bit better. So no, that was and we can't do that without the support of the volunteers who were there.
Yeah, and I had a bunch of other volunteers.
That first because we were here
night and
8 of them.
Yeah,
we went through. That was a fun scavenger hunt. That was really done. That was a fun scavenger hunt.
The church is almost put back together.
Yeah, we've got. Well, that's the thing. And when you came to church over the weekend, because it was Friday, and we went to church on Saturday. And there's stuff messy, and you're going to find garbage here, you're going to find garbage there. But just a little bit of grace, for us on that is greatly appreciated as well. Because I tell you what, that's a neat thing that we'll want to continue to do. We'll definitely want to continue to do that to help these kids, because you want these kids when they look back on their growing in Christ to have those good foundational friendships.
We want to teach them about the faith, but we want to teach them out of the book, and we also want to teach them what it looks like and feels like to be a part of a Christian community. Yeah. So
exactly. All right. So I know I brought up Gilead. We're going to save that.
Okay.
It might be fun. Do we go on location together?
Oh, at the new place? Yeah. It's pretty neat to see this come together.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because if you've when you drove by that Germania Hall on King Road, just off of Dick's, you can probably visualize it. A lot of our folks live down there. It doesn't look like that at all.
It just looks like a highway project right now, almost, because they're doing the parking lot right now, and
it's we're excited. We're excited for them. That's going to be neat. But rather than we'll dive into that a little bit more. Maybe you can have Tom on here.
That'd be fun.
It'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. All right. So
he's got jokes, I bet.
He would start us off with a joke. He would start off with a joke. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time on the Church Office.